Welcome back to Pretty Passionate Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ruth, and joining me today is none other than my husband, Quenton. We are here today to do an instant reaction on the newest Superman movie starring David Cornsweet, and I am a Marvel girl, to be honest with you. I enjoy DC output as far as TV and film, but I was never into DC Comics. So my husband here happens to be a DC fan in the house, the only DC fan in the house.
I don't know about only.
Well, the other members of the household are 3 and 6. So
Yeah.
for now, he's the only DC fan, true DC fan in the house. And so I thought it would be really fun to get his hot takes on the movie because we just saw it. And yes, so let's get started. So I'm going to just jump right in and say this is by far the best DC movie I have ever seen.
Okay. Well, I won't say it's the best DC movie, but I will say that I really enjoyed it. And full disclosure, when they first announced that James Gunn was taking over as the head of DC Studios, I was a little concerned.
Same.
And then when they said that he was writing and directing the new Superman, I was extremely concerned. I was like that me.
Why were you concerned?
Well, because, James Gunn typically takes on unconventional superheroes. So the Guardians of the Galaxy, the last Suicide Squad movie,
which I did not like.
I enjoy it. It was entertaining. But his thing is he does well with unconventional superheroes that most people aren't familiar with.
Right.
So when they said he was going to be writing and directing the Superman movie, I was like, whoa, extremely concerned because
Not extremely concerned.
I was like that meme of the dude at the basketball game with his hands on his hips, looking really good. That was me.
Okay.
Superman is a marquee franchise.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Superman, even people that aren't
True
familiar
story.
with comic books. So James Gunn typically likes, unconventional heroes that people aren't familiar with. Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad. So yes, I was very concerned. But I will say, after seeing this movie, I think DC, the film, studio, all the franchises, I think they're in good hands.
Okay.
That's my initial thoughts. I will say I'm still a big Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, the Snyderverse. That's still my primary DC franchise, but I think DC's in good hands now. So,
like, maybe I was speaking in hyperbole. Okay, I still think it was like. Okay, so for me, as far as the movies, just DC movies that have come out from the DC comic universe is Wonder Woman, the first one.
Which was awesome.
Outstanding, right? So, okay. Yeah. And then Justice League. Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut, yes.
Snyder Cut. Let's not be disrespectful.
Put the asterisk on it.
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut was a completely different movie.
Oh my gosh. We can't. All right, let's not get off track.
Completely different movie.
Totally different movie.
Yeah.
So I would say those were like my two favorites.
Okay.
And then now this has come in, and I went in with such low expectations that I walked away so impressed.
Yeah.
That it's leaving a really big mark on me. Like, wow, okay, so I didn't expect him to be able to deliver on this. I actually expected a little bit too much pluck and quirk.
Yeah.
I was like, let's not do a Thor thing where we try to make DC too damn funny and ruin it. But I found myself like, okay, I can feel the rhythm. I could feel the presence of James Gunn here,
right.
But it wasn't ruinous.
Yeah, and that was why I was so concerned initially, because when you look at Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, there's a lot of humor and jokes and comedy, which work. It works for those movies.
Yeah.
But me, I like my superhero
dark,
movies
sad,
a little
brooding.
more. I like my superheroes a little more angsty and dark, and because lives are on the line. Fate of the universe, all that good stuff. So I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but
right.
So yes, that's why I was concerned, was the comedic aspect. But it really worked for this movie. They didn't have too much in it. So.
They didn't oversell the humor. Right, exactly. Yeah. They didn't do a Thor Love and Thunder where they just tried to make the whole thing a ball of laughs and fail miserably. So, like, the tone was right for me, the amount of humor, the amount of seriousness.
Yeah.
How'd you think about David Cornsweet?
You know, he was great.
Yeah.
He was really good. Cavill's still my guy. Henry Cavill's still my Superman.
Yeah. I think was born to be Superman. But
yeah. But Cornsweet really, he was very believable as Clark Kent.
Agreed.
And he held his own as Superman. I was not disappointed in his take on Superman.
Yeah, I will say that actually is where he excelled compared to Henry Cavill, is that the Clark Kent aspect, I didn't think, not that he did a bad job, but whenever they would shoot those scenes like in Kansas or, with him at the Daily Planet, it just felt like he's like a god among mere mortals. Yeah. Henry Cavill. Yeah. And he just, I was like, how is he not standing out? Yeah. In this crowd with that that whole thing he's got going on. Like, who wouldn't be like, he almost looks like an alien because he's so freaking
ridiculously
attractive.
Good looking.
Exactly.
And when you put glasses on him, he only gets more attractive.
Yeah, like okay.
Everybody's going to be looking at this guy, especially in some newsroom.
Right.
Everybody's going to be fawning over this guy.
Right. So that was the only note, I guess, on having him. So it was interesting for me with David Cornsweet. The scenes in Kansas felt really authentic. Yeah. He didn't feel like he was sticking out. He felt like he could go back over to the farm next door and help them with some tasks, and no one would be like, who the f- is this? Yeah. So I really like that he was able to do that. And one of the things I also noticed that they were making a big point of right from the jump with that opening, marquee and everything, what's going on, they were trying to humanize Superman.
Yeah. They did a very good job at humanizing Superman. Yeah. And that's one of the differences between Cornsweet Superman and Cavill Superman is that Cavill Superman was more godlike. For real. He was almost untouchable. And even in the last movie, the Justice League, he never even broke a sweat in that movie. No. He never...
It was light work for him.
His hair never even got messed up. Nothing. In this version of Superman, they introduce us to him
getting trounced.
He just got his butt kicked.
Actually, it was jarring. I'm not going to lie. To see him, I was like, I stopped eating my popcorn because he was bleeding and stuff. And I was like,
and that's you're not used to seeing Superman. Superman never bleeds.
No.
Never
has
none of that.
Cuts on his. I was like, what did this to him? Yeah.
So that was kudos to them because they really humanized him, and I don't want to say they kind of did they reduced Superman's powers, so to speak. Yeah, I would say he didn't come off as godlike. I mean, he was vulnerable both physically and emotionally. Yeah, he was much more tangible. Yeah, I would say
tangibility was a big factor here, and I would definitely agree that they didn't underpower him in the frustrating way that they do the X-Men.
Yeah.
They didn't...
How they underpowered Thor and Hulk in the last...
In the Avengers.
Yeah, in Endgame.
Again, let's not get off the right.
Yeah.
Right? And the other thing I like that they did to humanize him was giving him a dog.
Yeah.
That freaking dog. Yeah. I swear. I was so invested in the
Crypto
well-being of Crypto. That little freaking ear in the air.
It was funny.
I was like, is that a real dog? I had to look it up. I was like, he must be part CG, part real dog. There must be a dog in a green suit or something, right?
But I like that they didn't oversell it too much.
Right.
Crypto was still a dog.
Yes. And he wasn't this constant gag or foil.
Yeah.
He wasn't constantly, oh, well, here comes Crypto to save the day. Sometimes he would just be a dog, which dogs don't always follow commands.
No.
Right? When they were, when he was getting sucked into that black hole. I almost cringed about the idea that he was calling Crypto and Crypto was going to save him. And I appreciated that, no, actually, no. Crypto was going to come and lick the baby.
Yeah.
So I love the dog. In fact, I was like, listen, I love that dog so much. If they did a spinoff just with Crypto, and I would take Tino to go see it, and I would put him in his little cape.
He
was the best. Yeah.
I would say part of humanizing Superman in this movie is that one of the things I noticed is that his Earth parents, the Kents,
Yeah.
that they use pretty much like relatively unknown actors for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as opposed to Cavill's Superman, they had two like
Kevin Costner.
old school
Yeah.
Hollywood, Diane Lane and Kevin Costner, who were, they've been in Hollywood since they were kids.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who they are, So that was a striking difference for me, was that they use relative unknown actors, at least to most theater going public.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see them, it's like, oh, it's just,
regular town
regular
USA.
people off the street, and I think that really helped, humanize him and make him, a person, just a regular dude from Kansas.
Also, I think like them being on the older side.
Yes.
And like kind of fragile and very mortal, very like visibly mortal, you know, like wrinkles and weight. And
the dad had like the bags under his eyes and stuff.
Yeah, just kind of looking like, good old middle America people that, whereas like Kevin Costner being your dad.
And even though it
wasn't bad, it's just, I could see how this selection made him, it just really, like I said, the humanism of Superman was really coming through. The human nature that they were trying to bring forward and show us. Because it feels like at the end of the movie, one of the morals of the story was that he is not an alien. Actually.
Right.
He is one of us.
He's one of us. From down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, I feel like what they did there was kind of like Jurassic Park. Like when you look at Jurassic Park, they didn't use a ton of like super huge actors at the time. It was Sam Neill and Laura Dern in the title roles. The most popular, the most well-known person in that movie was Jeff Goldblum at the time, right?
Yep.
So when you watch that movie, it's almost a sense of realism there, because they are like regular people that you're looking at on screen.
It's not taking you out, remembering.
It's not Tom Cruise playing, Dr. Grant or whatever. Like, it's a regular dude. You know?
So you can focus on story more than the stardom of the person. So that makes sense too.
So I definitely felt that in this version of Superman.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of which, with the parents, going back to, humanizing him and stuff, one of the things that I didn't really realize until later was they had Bradley Cooper playing his biological dad.
Yeah.
And they kind of did a switcheroo on us there, because Bradley Cooper is a very trusted, respected name in Hollywood. And so the thing with the message from his parents, he only had that snippet of the message saying, hey, we want you to go to Earth and be great.
A servant and
serve humankind and stuff. So, and it's Bradley Cooper, so you believe it.
Yeah.
And then when they switched it at the end, toward the end,
and play the second half, it's a little more villainous.
And you're like, Bradley Cooper,
well, damn.
Bradley Cooper would never lie to me. Well, like, I've met Bradley Cooper, when I was an air marshal, and he was the nicest dude I've ever met.
You did say that. Was it in Philly?
Going back to New York.
Okay. Yeah.
Coming back to New York.
Yeah, you did say that.
And he was the nicest guy I've ever met, so I felt extremely betrayed.
That he was like, and it's funny because you are right. There was some trust implied there with the familiarity of the face.
Because Bradley Cooper, everybody knows Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bradley Cooper. He's, done a bunch of movies and stuff. So when you see him playing Superman's dad, you're like, hey. And from what we know about Superman from all the other movies and comics and stuff,
he's just inherently good.
He's this great guy that was just trying to save his son.
Yep.
And sent him to Earth to save humanity. But then the spin on it in this Superman
was actually brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, they pulled an okie doke.
Yeah, because that message thing has appeared in more than one version of the story, that there's this message, and it's telling him, Kal-El, all this stuff.
Be a beacon to humanity and
show him how to do
save them. And
and the fact that it's a corrupted, and number 4, the droid, he mentions, it's a corrupted file, and honestly, that felt like a throwaway comment to me. And then it comes back to play this huge role that, actually, no, sir, you were sent here to rule over these people. And I love that. I was taken aback a little bit by how quickly the crowd turned on him, but I had to remember we're dealing with people. Yeah. Because I had kept I was like, come on, everybody's just going to start throwing soda cans at the guy. And I was like, fickle.
Yeah.
The crowd is fickle.
That's people.
That's people. They like to lift you up just to tear you down. So I had to
everybody loves a good, fall from grace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I was also, it struck me how it affected him.
Yes.
And his perception of like, what is my mission here? Another humanizing factor, you know, besides all the other things we talked about. What is more human than wondering what your purpose on earth is, right?
Absolutely.
He, in previous installments, previous versions, he's come to earth with a dedicated mission. He knows what he's supposed to do. Yeah. The S is hope, you know, and all this. And we just know what he never actually has ever questioned, am I supposed to be here as a savior of mankind?
Right.
Whether they accept him, whether they question him and fear him because of his power is definitely something that comes up, you know, a lot. But never him actually.
He never had that internal
crisis of...
Not really.
Not really. Of who am I? What am I really supposed to be doing here? Am I inherently good? This whole time I thought I was inherently a force for good. And here I find I was actually sent here to be an emperor.
Yeah, basically.
So I was like, you know, you're blowing my mind, James. You're giving me Superman multi-dimensional.
It was well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Very well done. Yeah. That's where I thought you really saw the footprint. The handprints was in the humanizing of him, the showing him not to be a perfect God person.
Yeah. And I think that kind of brings it back to, like, Superman has always been a hard character, at least in my mind, to write for, because you know, everybody goes to the movies, you know, you watch shows and TV and movies and stuff to see conflict.
Right.
But how do you create conflict for the thing that's supposed to be the most powerful being in the known universe?
With good intentions.
Yeah. Like, how do you create conflict for him when he can just fly away? You know? Like, why even stay on Earth if you get catching this much drama and stress?
Like, why not be like peace?
Just, you know what? I'm going to this other galaxy over here.
Yeah, on Mars,
why even be
this
here?
drama doesn't exist.
Yeah, but they did a good job really humanizing that and giving him purpose here, because we had his original mandate from his biological parents, which we thought was, hey, just go to Earth and be a good man.
Right.
You know, we had his ties to his family in Kansas, and then we had his ties to Lois Lane, who I really liked in this movie too. So, you
know what I liked about Lois is that I didn't like her at first.
Yeah.
Because me and the lady next to me,
y'all were.
We were like, break up her.
Going in on this chick.
Yeah, she was like, when they had that argument, and I was so annoyed with her because I was like, why would you needle him? He's clearly vulnerable in this moment, you know, and she's interviewing him and really actually being a journalist, and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't hack it because those questions were a little...
They were real.
They were
questions.
Hitting close to home. And I was mad at her in that moment because I felt like she was being mean to him. But I loved that they did that with her. When I saw the movie, by the end, I was like, I love that they didn't make her this sycophant, you know, this rescue me, Superman, damsel in distress. And I think other versions have tried to make her this, like, you know, tough girl journalist. Like, they tried to I felt like they started to try to do that with Amy Adams.
Yeah.
But after like one or two kisses, she was just like,
swoon. And I usually like Amy Adams, but her interpretation of Lois Lane, or at least the way Lois Lane was written, I didn't feel, you know, they gave her a few moments, you know, between the movies where she was, you know, Lois Lane, investigative journalist, you know, trying to get the story or whatever. But I really felt like that took a back seat to, you know, being Superman's woman.
For sure.
You know.
For sure. She did not ever press him.
Yeah.
Especially not journalistically. She never was like, well, do you think it's right to act unilaterally in a way that can affect, you know, world powers and governmental affairs? It's always been the government posing that question to him. It's never been anyone close to him posing that question, and it was profound to witness. Actually, that changes the conversation for him. And it hits him in a deeper place than if, you know, he's sitting in front of a panel of generals, you know, and like trying to explain, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to help, you know. So that was interesting, you know, and I didn't like her, but then by the end of the movie I actually did really like her. And you know, it's interesting that you're like, yeah, Superman needs a girl who's going to hold him accountable.
I really appreciated that, because they showed that she wasn't just Superman's girlfriend. She was a professional journalist whose primary goal is to get the story and get to the truth of whatever the thing is that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really good job of illustrating that with her. So,
and also in the end, she kind of saves him.
Yes.
She contributes to his rescue greatly.
Yeah.
Right? By not giving up and being the one to go straight to the Justice Gang.
The Justice Gang.
To the Justice Gang. We'll get to them in a second. And, try to rally their support to go and save him. And, it was really her. She's the driving force. And she's going back to the paper.
Yeah, he would have been lost without her.
Yeah. He would have just been in that jail cell if she hadn't mobilized like she did and used her skill as a journalist too. Not only that, because like she goes back to Jimmy and they're putting their heads together trying to get to attack from the other angle at Lex. And, it's making me think of the Jimmy story.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy, yeah.
Which was, but back to Lois. I liked that, she wasn't a damsel in distress. She wasn't just, his sycophant worshiping girlfriend. She was his partner.
Yeah.
She questioned him when it was appropriate. And then when it was time to be his girl, she was all in and, in my opinion, rescued him. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say this is one of the better interpretations of Lois Lane that we've seen on screen. So.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so going to the Justice Gang and, that whole crew, I felt like that was really well done.
Same.
Because we've seen,
Green Lantern.
The Green Lanterns in various, iterations and stuff and different things. Hawkgirl really hasn't come up a lot in different things, but she was great in this movie. Isabel Merced, who we know from
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, phenomenal.
Gosh,
actress.
Can she do any wrong?
Yeah.
And also as Dora the Explorer.
Yes, as Dora.
Her complete, but she's just great.
Yeah.
She's got so much personality. She's stunning. And she's one of those pretty people that uses it to effect in a way that is not off-putting.
Yeah.
You know? You don't feel like she's using it on you.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's there. It's undeniable. She's stunning and she's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my only... I wouldn't even call it a critique, was that I wanted more screen time with her.
Yeah.
But they packed so much into this movie that I understand why they couldn't, give her more screen time.
Absolutely.
But for the time she was on the screen, she was great.
Fantastic.
And I'm sure there'll be spinoffs or whatever, and
I hope so.
More stuff with her in it. But yeah, she was awesome.
At least for the the group. I don't know if they need to go down the road of giving everybody their own show and or feature film.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be with Isabel Merced, I'm going to tune in.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when you mentioned like they didn't take that road of we're going to let every character on here get enough of a setup that we can then launch another property off of them is so important to not taking you out of the movie. Because I feel like that's the mistake they made with Black Panther too. I complain about this all the time because I like the characters and I didn't mind their inclusion. I thought they were great, but spending too much time with them and maybe there was too many they were trying to introduce all at once. I feel like this was a very skilled way of doing the same thing without taking us out of the story. So, yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
so we had her, and then we had the Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, who was hilarious.
That haircut.
Yeah, the bowl cut.
Oh my gosh, it was so
but
bad.
That's, it's pretty much comic accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, for people that keep up with the comics.
Yeah, you were telling me that. I was like, what was up with his hair?
Yeah.
What was up with his hair?
Yeah, and the guy that played him, Nathan Fillion, is like he's been around for a long time, and everybody loves him in Hollywood. He's been in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And just a great actor. And I think he really sold Guy Gardner in this movie.
Yeah.
Like
he was
you hated him, like he was this...
But the Green Lantern is not a lovable
character
per se.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be likable, because Guy Gardner in the comics isn't a likable guy. He's abrasive, people really don't mess with him, And he sold that in this movie
perfectly, right on.
But he was
down
also
to
funny,
Yeah, it wasn't like he was like, oh gosh, this guy's such a jerk that it's not funny.
Yeah.
It was actually like, no, he was really funny.
Yeah.
And even down to, it was like a small things that they had to do or say, like the middle fingers.
With the
tanks.
That was hilarious.
That was perfect. Like that was where I was like, James Gunn, you son of a gun.
But I definitely think my favorite scene in this movie was Mr. Terrific.
Goodness gracious.
Because he kind of stole the show.
I feel like he stole almost every scene he was in. Because talk about perfect casting. We know him from For All Mankind.
For All Mankind,
Yeah, and even before that, we know him from X-Men.
The other Marvel,
Yeah, where he didn't spend too much time on screen.
No.
But this was it was like this role was like written for him.
Absolutely.
Somehow he was able to become Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. He was completely believable.
Yeah.
He had the demeanor of a guy who has means and technology and who is the
brilliance,
extremely brilliant, smartest guy in the room, able to figure stuff out, and he sold it. And what I also liked was that he wasn't just a nerd, though.
No,
like that scene where him and Lois are walking into that
camp,
military camp or whatever, and he just wrecked shop.
Yes,
with everybody.
I was like, I cannot believe they included this scene to allow him to kick butt because, like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. I didn't see it coming because he's this ancillary character.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to give him like a whole several minutes, or maybe it felt like a couple minutes of just straight.
Yeah. But I like that they included that because that he can hold his own.
Yes. Because initially when he told her he was
and
just
going
to go
with...
with...
computer guy.
Yeah, like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Right? And initially when he said, I'll go with you, and then he didn't enlist the others, I was kind of like, they're going to bring the Brainiac? Yeah. I was like, you don't want to bring Green Lantern? You're just going to take Brainiac?
Yeah.
But no, he proved himself to be...
he was completely confident.
Multi-level competent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed him. And when he... And then it was the humor notes with him, too, that were very good and not too much.
Yeah.
Like when he mushed old boy.
Oh, when he mushed the dude in the
at the computer. He was like, I don't need your help. It was great. It was giving just the right amount of swag and arrogance, confidence. Something I feel like the brother is just, it's got to be,
He was a fully realized character on his own.
On his own inside of this very big character movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Like I would watch if he had a spin-off movie or show or whatever, I would definitely watch that.
100%.
He was outstanding.
I would definitely like to see a Justice Gang. I mean, is that what they go by in the...
That's what they were going by in the movie.
But in the comics, is that what they go by?
I don't remember.
Because I kept thinking the whole time, I'm like, wait, isn't it Justice League? And then I was like, no, Justice League is Batman, Superman,
there's the Justice League. I think there was the Justice Association or something of America. There was like a couple different groups of superheroes running around. So either way, I would tune in for a Justice Gang movie. Yeah, I think. You know, it kind of gives me like if Fantastic Four works. That this is what this group is going to be like. I hope because I'm really counting on you, Pedro. I digress. So okay, now Lex Luthor. Speaking of the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Holt. He killed it.
I feel like he was the best Lex Luthor.
Yeah, because he really sold the, megalomaniacal genius, has resources out the wazoo, but he is also super jealous. Yes. And
of the adoration. Yeah. Yeah. But he has, what's crazy about that, mind you, is he has a team of complete,
that was hilarious.
Loyal sycophants around him doing horrific things and not like thinking to stop and question him not once. They're all just doing this horrible work.
But that's people.
No, but what I'm saying is like, but somehow that's not enough for him. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like because they're on the payroll. So, but when he kept dropping those pencils, I was like, my God,
that was like,
what more? Come on. I was like, what more does he actually want? He actually has people groveling at his literal feet, and it still was. I think he wants to be liked.
But you know what? I think
or loved.
They say that the best villains are the ones that are written that in a way that they really believe that they're the hero.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he truly believed. He saw Superman as this alien. We don't know what he's up to. He's got these superpowers.
Why do we trust him so much?
Why do we trust him? We got to figure out a way to stop him. He hasn't really earned all of this adoration and all these powers and stuff. You know, I think he really felt like Superman was an imposter.
Yeah.
Know? And I really believe this Lex Luthor, you know.
He believes it.
He absolutely believes it. And yeah, he's jealous too. Like, why does this guy get all the love? And
yeah. But you're right. That's true. He drank his
truly
own Kool-Aid.
He
truly believed that. Obviously, there was a huge part of self-serving, you know, motivation here for what he was doing, because he wants all the adulation, he wants all the praise, and he wants the military contracts, right? So then the country is going to
he wants to be the protector,
and be that guy. But also, he probably I feel like he did sell Nick Holt, sold it. That deep down he doesn't trust him either.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because he doesn't totally get him. And one of the reasons he probably doesn't get him is the selflessness.
Yeah.
He hasn't yet
seen. You can't really be that good.
Yes. Like he hasn't.
Come on.
What's in it for you?
You got all this power.
Right.
You're Superman.
Right.
You're not really this good. Like,
especially
nobody's
because
that good.
He is that.
Exactly.
Self-serving.
Yeah.
So I thought Nicholas Hoult, man, he blew me away with his portrayal.
Yeah.
I bought him as Lex Luthor, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And he was on the short list. I was reading, I think, in a Times article. He was on the short list for Superman.
Wow.
Which would have been such a mistake.
Yeah.
No offense to Nick Hoult. I think he's gorgeous. But I mean,
Superman's got a certain
He
look,
has
though.
a look.
You know, Cavill, Corn Sweat, you know.
They have the look.
They've got the jaw.
The thing.
The jaw.
The jaw.
They've got the man
square
jaw. Yeah.
thing within the cleft chin.
Yeah, and the hair. And there's a certain look you need to have.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
play Superman, you know.
Agreed.
So, but he was great as Lex Luthor. And
Fantastic. What a find.
Killed it, yeah.
And, okay, now, other character that I don't want to forget to talk about is Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
Jimmy Longshanks. Yeah.
You were dying every scene.
Because...
was it Erica?
Yeah, well, all the women in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, first they started out with the
copy girl.
The girls in the newsroom, you know, pointing at him and kind of whispering.
Which at the time, I thought they were pointing at Superman. I thought they were pointing at Clark.
I knew they were pointing at Jimmy.
I don't know how you knew that.
Because it was something about the way they were looking at him and pointing, and I was like, man, like, and they weren't like making fun of him.
No, they were like,
it was a
that's why
like,
I thought it was Clark.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and I thought to myself in that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't know why he thinks it's disguise anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
So what was funny about this version of Jimmy Olsen is that in some version of the comics, Jimmy is kind of a man about town. So he's, you know, good with the ladies.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Not a lot of, you know, movies and shows have
way.
Ever shown. Yeah. If any have ever shown.
They always kind of show him as like a bookish little.
He's kind of a
Lois's right hand guy. Yeah.
Just kind of a side guy.
Yeah.
You know? But
wow.
Apparently Jimmy been slinging that meat, you know. Hey, that's what he's been doing. Because every woman in this movie that had an interaction with Jimmy
was sprung.
It was all about Jimmy Olsen. And I like that they never said it out loud.
No.
You know,
it
was kind of alluded to.
Yeah.
That hey,
he's a ladies' man. There's
Jimmy's
something about
doing
Jimmy.
It. Yeah.
Because that girl's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And he's got her in his phone as mutant pose.
Yeah.
And told her to her ears that her feet look like would you say shrimp cocktail?
Yeah.
Like hilarious. Her toes look like shrimp cocktail shrimp. And speaking of, I think her name is Erica. Forgive me.
I think
E. It starts with
something like
Okay. Gorgeous woman. The whole time, I just loved how they used her. Because the whole entire time, she's just there. Lex Luthor is like arm candy.
Side piece.
Yeah, and he's kind of a jerk to her. But also, I'm looking at her like, well, I know why you're here, sister.
Yeah.
She's taking her selfies. We're not paying any attention.
No. Didn't pay any attention to her.
And no. And then when she finally says, I've got everything to take him down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking she snuck and pulled some
documents or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And all she does is go to her little selfies album. On her phone and select all and hit send. Yeah. Crazy.
Which made me wonder if she had actually been planning
all along.
If she had been purposely doing that all along, or if she just realized like, oh.
No, I think that I don't know that. Okay, so I don't know that she was planning to tell Jimmy and report to the Daily Planet, but I think she knew who she was dealing with, and she was like, "I'm going to have leverage on this guy one way or the other," kind of thing. I think that's what I think all along. Like, for example, the reason you can't say it was like, oh, serendipity that she just happened to have this stuff in the background was she was laying on those documents. The selfie they showed with her laying on the contracts. Yeah, like this was definitely well thought out on her part, and it just gave her so much like, oh wow, this is an intelligence. This is not just a piece of arm candy.
Yeah, and that's what's funny too is Lex thinks he's the smartest guy in the world, and nobody can get over on him, and he's got plans on top of plans. Yep. And he's thinking, 5 moves ahead. Yep. But the person right next to him, he completely
disregarded her,
overlooked and ignored, and she was the one to take him down. So
yeah, I thought it was really
that
fitting.
was pretty satisfying, actually.
It was like
see that.
Hubris. Took him down. He underestimates everyone around him, not just her. Yeah, but I'm sure especially her. Look how he treated the other girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
yeah, just put her in a prison cell.
Yeah,
like so he's obviously there's misogyny there.
Yeah, of course.
And he completely disregards her, and to his detriment. And good. And I love that message coming in. Yeah, it came back to bite him. Like, you think you're so smart, and the person you thought was the dumbest person in this room took you out, my friend. Yep. Well, no, but I love that, and I love the reunion in the end, and they're like that. Jimmy is just convinced he does not want this girl is comedy gold to me, because even in the end when she's like Jimmy, when she raps, and everyone's looking like, who is this babe? Yeah, all over Jimmy, and he's just like, oh. I lived for that. I was like, okay, Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy was the man.
All right, what else do I have here? I guess we're coming to the end. One of the things I noticed and really enjoyed is that they tied up all the loose ends that I would have normally. Sometimes you walk out of a movie like that and they're queuing it up to be a sequel. I feel like I didn't get that vibe. Yeah, even though we know.
Yeah, there's gonna be more.
There's gonna be more of it. Yeah, I mean that theater was pretty full. Yeah, for out in the country where we are. Yeah. I don't know. The last movie we saw that was that full was probably Black Panther 2. Where I was sitting next to folks. Yeah. Yeah, where we didn't have a whole damn aisle ourselves. Yeah, I was like, what? When we got to our seats, and I was like, well, okay, this movie's doing well. That's how I knew. But yeah, like it occurred to me that one of the things that these properties that know they're going to set up for sequel after sequel do is they leave some ends untied. Yeah. Didn't you feel like this was almost like tied up? There was can you identify any loose ends?
I felt everything was wrapped up, and even when they brought in Supergirl at the end, old girl from Game of Thrones, Millie Alcock, and they brought her in. I didn't feel like that was this thing, just this loose end hanging out. No, because the way they introduced her was, she'd been away for a minute partying. Yeah. And they brought her in for a minute, and it was believable. Yeah. It was, she's a young girl. She likes to go out and party and stuff. They brought her in. She's been away for a minute. She came back, picked up her dog, and now she's bouncing again. Yeah.
And they gave her nothing to do.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, the mistake would have been to bring her into the story. Yeah. Because that would have felt like just, okay, now we're doing too much. Yeah. It would have been a bridge too far, and it would have been, like I said, teetering on that end of, Wakanda Forever, where now you can feel them queuing up that next story or that spin-off.
And it feels unnatural. Yes. It doesn't feel organic to the story. No. And I like the way that they just kind of brought her in. You see her for a minute, and then she leaves. Yeah. And you don't feel invested in her yet. No. You're familiar with her now. Yeah. She's out there. You know she exists. Yeah. But you're not invested in her. Like, oh.
It was almost a nothing. Like, I almost forgot about it. Yeah. Yeah. And that was perfect. Yeah. That was like the only thing that you could point out and say, obviously, there's more to come. And then, of course, the Justice Gang. Yeah. With the guy, the Elemental Man.
Oh, Metamorpho.
Yeah. Is that his? Okay. Yeah. Is he a member of the Justice Gang?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, it feels like they're setting
they're kind of
that he wants to join. Things like that. But it was such light airbrush touches that you didn't feel that they were purposely leaving a huge bit of the story unanswered.
Yeah.
And come back.
To make sure you come back
in
next,
2 years when we resolve this issue.
Yeah.
You know, and not to fault, you know, Marvel when they've done that in the past, because sometimes it was necessary.
Yeah.
Like at the end of, Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Right? We knew we weren't going to wrap that up in one
right.
movie. But sometimes it's to the detriment of the movie.
Yeah.
In this case, I love that they wrapped up everything.
Yeah, this was a self-contained movie where there was nothing left unfinished. No. And you could watch this movie by itself and be done. Right,
which is one of the problems Marvel's running into. Yeah. Is that content everywhere, and then each one is tied into the other. Yeah. And you could watch this, it's siloed, you know? And I love that about it, because now our kids, one of the problems we have getting the kids into Marvel is
so many Marvel properties. Yeah. And like, where do you start? Where do you really start
chronologically? You know, I'm sure there's a Reddit page somewhere that's going to tell me exactly what order to watch them all in. But, you know, then they went down the deep dive with the Infinity Saga. But
it's also a lot of content.
Yes.
It's a lot of properties. Yeah. And you can't watch them all.
No. You'll never be able to. I mean, maybe when they're adults, but you know, we have to sit there and watch it with them. Yeah. And I don't have time to watch all of the Iron Mans, all of the Captain Americas, Captain Marvel, all the Hulk, everything, and put it all together to make sense to them.
And they also can't keep up with all of that. I mean, they're 6 and 3.
But I feel like a 6 and 3-year-old could go see this movie. Yeah. And there's violence, obviously, but it's not gore.
Yeah. My only criticism about this movie related to kids is they had some language in there that I didn't really feel was necessary. Okay. You know,
I missed it, but I'm from Jersey. So.
Yeah, you curse a little more than that.
Yeah, I went right.
I definitely.
What did they say?
You know, some S words and some, you know, a few other things.
You know what? It's so funny. When the kids are there, if I hear that remember we were watching, what was the movie? Was it Iron Man?
Captain Marvel?
One of them. It was Captain Marvel. And they said the S word just a couple times.
I overheard it.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, I think, said it. That makes sense. Yeah. And I was like, dang it. Like, there's too much cursing in this movie. But yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to say that it was totally kid appropriate. But
no, my ears definitely pricked up. You know, there were a couple phrases, a couple words in there, and I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that would be my
what I said,
only...
obviously. You know, I'm a terrible mother. But
But no, I think if your kids are mature enough and if they've heard that stuff before, then it's not a problem. So.
Yeah. And I just meant the kid-friendly thing, I really meant more from the standpoint of like, you don't have to go into this with institutional DC knowledge to enjoy the heck out of it. No. Because I'm a perfect example that I have just light knowledge. I'm not deep in the lore and a canon freak about any of it. And so I'm going in with like a clean palette. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it and I never felt lost. Even though they introduced new characters, I was not like, who the heck are these? What? And there wasn't all this history and stuff. So yeah, definitely loved that. Loved that they tied up the loose ends at the end. Like even that last detail that I was like, gosh, they are doing a good job tying up these loose ends of how Lex got into the Fortress of Solitude.
Oh yeah, right,
is a clone. Yeah. Did you suspect it the whole time? No, not
I had
at all.
No idea.
It wasn't until the mask came on that I was like. And then it dawned on me. I was like, when he said he's a clone, and as soon as he said the words, you cloned me, or someone said clone, and I was like, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, that explains it.
And I love that. And then we moved on. You know what I mean? But yeah, we tied up everything. It is a great standalone film. Yeah. It's something I'm gonna definitely be able to watch again. Yeah. I think we could definitely take the kids to see it. Yeah. I think they would enjoy it. I think it's something you should see in IMAX, to be honest with you. Yeah. You're normally more of an IMAX purist than me. Yes. Sometimes I'm just like, can we just see the freaking movie? No. But we did see it in IMAX, and I highly recommend because there's so many high-flying aerial shots of the Earth and space, and just it's such a big
metropolis.
Yes, all the shots from above. Yeah, I think IMAX was the way to go for sure. Yeah. So if you have IMAX near you, that's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will say this last thing. This is the onlyest time that I have ever heard out loud, like applause and cheering at the end of a DC film. Never happened.
Hey, you know what?
Never happened in the history of ever.
The only one I recall was I think it was one of the Nolan Batman movies.
Applause?
It was one of those. It was. I remember applause at one. I can't remember if it was. I don't know if it was Batman Begins or it might have been the last one. But anyway, either way, I think that one of those was like the only one I've ever heard applause for.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. And there's never been applause in any other DC movie I've been
cheering
to.
And yeah. No, that's more of a Marvel thing.
Yeah, this was. But you're right. I forgot about. I remember sitting there like, oh wow, like, people really like this.
Yeah, and you don't.
And I did too. But
walk away. No offense, you don't usually walk away from DC films with this like feel good situation where it's like this happy ending because now he's back. The droids are not totally dead. Yeah, you know, so that sadness broke my heart when those poor droids. It did. I was like crying. I was stifling tears because between Crypto and the robots, I was like, couldn't take it. But yeah, they kind of gave us that happy ending. And then, did you notice when he said the same line of he likes to watch the videos of his parents, it comforts him.
But it was his Earth parents this time. Parents.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. But you know what? I will say that this Superman really hit on the message of like hope. Yeah. And, you know, because he even says it in the movie, like, I just want to be a good man or something to that effect. Yeah. Like, I'm here to be a good man. Like, that's all I'm trying to do. Yeah. And I think that really resonated with people. Because as much as I love, you know, Snyder's interpretation of Superman and all that, it was dark. You know, it's or darker than most Superman movies have been.
You're not going to break out into applause at the end of those films.
At the end of Snyder's Superman, you're like, man, like
wow, that was amazing.
Like, he
but
saved
you're not
the
like,
Earth.
Yeah. This definitely somehow managed to take us down into the depths of a low. That prison was the death of the Molly. Oh yeah, that guy. What a low.
Oh man, that was terrible. Yeah, the street vendor guy.
Stifling tears when he said, "I believe in you, Superman," and then he said,
"That dude was a hero."
My God.
And that's what I like too is that they acknowledged him.
Yes, in the end with the paper, and they were like
the true hero or something. Yes,
I just there were the lows in terms of like you were just so sad, and when Crypto was missing for those few minutes, I was a wreck. Me and the girl next to you. We were like concerned. She sat up when they took Crypto. Yeah. So I think like it got dark. Yeah. But it didn't stay this brooding dark thing. Yeah. And in the end, to hear
wasn't angsty.
No. Yeah. To hear people, there was angst, but the angst was resolved. Yeah. He didn't leave like Bruce Wayne, just like forever gonna be damn angsty. Like, you know, and I just to hear people applauding, I was like, okay, they all agree with me. This was like not bright and sunny Superman like it's doing in the property a disservice, but there was something distinctively happy hopeful. At the end, hopeful at the end. So
I will still say, you know, the Snyder vision of Superman, the whole DC universe is still my favorite, but this movie definitely stands on its own. And I'm very happy to see this version of it.
I am too.
You know, I think it did the institution of Superman a service. I think it was very good. Yeah.
And I would say, obviously, you know, he's taken over. This is a new chapter for the DC cinematic universe. Yeah. I think it spells a pretty bright future. If they're heading if this direction they're heading in, I'm more invested as someone who, again, is, you know, more of a Marvel fan for the 35th time I'm going to say. So no, really, because sometimes, like, I feel like I gotta get my mind right to go watch a Batman movie. Like, here we go, let's get ready to be depressed, and everything's freaking dirty, and Gotham is, like, the most horrific version of New York City you could ever get. And, like, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining as all get out. Like, the Penguin.
Oh, the Penguin was amazing.
Insane.
Yeah. The Penguin was amazing.
But also, I was depressed. It was depressing. Well. That ending was flipping depressing. And it was great, but it was really, like I said, just such a refreshing change of pace to see that. And I'm actually like looking forward to those next films, whatever they are. I don't know what they are. Is it Supergirl, right?
I know there's a Supergirl planned and probably a few more Superman movies. And I'm sure a bunch of other stuff.
But you know what? More importantly, we don't know what it is. As in, they don't have a roster of 30 films
already planned
out that they're about
at least not publicly.
That we know that they're going to milk out of all of these characters that they've showed us. So I think that's good. Let's pump our brakes and enjoy this one. Yeah. Everybody, let's not get all crazy and just enjoy it. Maybe see it more than once and send the message that this is the kind of superhero storytelling we're interested in,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much to you all for listening. That brings us to the end of our Superman movie instant takes. Thank you to my special guest.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. I hope
didn't have a
enjoyed
choice.
Him. I was waiting for the point where you were going to say, that I forced you to do this, but you had a blast.
I did. It was excellent.
I didn't actually plan on having a guest on this early, but I thought that, cause this is a young podcast, but I thought who better to discuss a DC film with than,
thank you for having me.
My resident DC expert, who I'm always like, who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Well, thanks. It was fun.
Thanks, babe. Woohoo. Thanks for joining us. Tune in for next episode is going to be Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 4 coverage, which aired actually tonight. And I'm going to be doing a recap and reactions on that, and should have that up for you by Tuesday. For now, thanks and bye-bye.